Hello, it's Concord Wind. I just did something really confusing. I, well, earlier, not like recently, but maybe about 30 minutes, an hour ago, something like that. I don't know. I had a cup of coffee, and it wasn't a full cup, it was a shot because, like I've said on this channel, I figured out how to drink coffee without throwing up, and that's that I have to uh, put a little bit of instant coffee, well, like a serving of instant coffee, and just a little bit of water. Mix it up real good, and then I put my creamer, my Splenda, mix it up real good, and then drink it like a shot. 1 second. So the reason why I paused the video was I did have to go throw up, which today's the first time I've thrown up in a while, but it's unrelated to the coffee, I believe, because I was throwing up before I even had the coffee today. It's just today is, just one of those days, because with my disease, with the CVS, it sometimes it doesn't need a trigger. Some days it'll just be worse than other days. But yeah, other than today, for the past like week and a half, I've been drinking coffee and I haven't thrown up at all. Today is an exception, but that's not because of the coffee, I don't think. But anyways, I wasn't feeling quite right on just the coffee. So I did something kind of weird, which is I made some valerian root tea. So an upper with a downer, which is, kind of weird. Hold on. I'm not going to throw up. I just need to blow my nose. 1 second. All right. So yeah, an upper with a downer. Anyways, I really want to read these words of God I've got prepared here. I really want to read them. I read them to myself last night, and they're pretty mind blowing. They're pretty mind blowing. You'll see when I read them why. But they're kind of sad. They're kind of sad, but they're important. It's important for the management of the earth, because one of the reasons God created humans was to manage the earth, to take care of the animals and the plants, and to make sure the earth is healthy. And that's one of the reasons God created humans, to be caretakers of the earth. And it's one of the responsibilities God has given to us. I'm getting emotional talking about it. And, I really want to contribute to the proper management of the earth. I want to take care of the animals and the plants, and I want God to teach me exactly how to do that. I want, oh my goodness. All right, let's read this. What is the issue that is involved in mankind's continued survival? Among the laws and rules of survival for all things, the broader aspects, things like day and night and the four seasons, are necessary. Within these, there basically isn't anything that people think of as bad according to their imaginings. When it comes to various things like trees, flowers, and plants, since they don't have any kind of lethal impact on people, people don't develop any notions about them. However, there are some poisonous and harmful things in the food chain, such as mosquitoes, that have some negative effects on the human body. These are things that, going by their notions, people dislike, especially some highly venomous living things, such as certain snakes, scorpions, and centipedes. So why did God create these venomous things? What was his purpose in creating them? What role do they play in the food chain? This is crucial. Although judging by their forms or their nature, or by some of the life traits they possess among other living things, it seems they do not play a positive role. Why are they said to be positive things? This must be explained in terms of the food chain. We're not studying biology. We won't discuss things from a scientific perspective, but we'll look at this from the perspective of God's intention in creating living things like this. For one, God gave them a unique skill for ensuring their survival, allowing them to preserve their life in this way. For another, they also play a certain role in the food chain. Their way of survival and the venom they secrete can provide necessary nutrients or food sources for other living things. Beyond that, they also provide necessary conditions for the transmission, reproduction, derivation, and evolution of bacteria and the transmission of genes throughout the biosphere, playing a certain role in this regard. Only with the existence of these living things can the biosphere maintain genetic balance and balance in terms of bacterial diversification, keeping the various types of bacteria in equilibrium. Take mosquitoes and flies, for example. They eat some parasites and also transmit some bacteria. We won't go into greater depth, it's just a simple concept. In short, some special living things serve some special purpose for mankind, and also play an indispensable role in the food chain. This indispensable role maintains the existence of the food chain. All things can only survive and carry on in an orderly manner if this food chain exists and is not destroyed, because all things share a relationship in which they strengthen each other, counteract each other, and exist together. The food chain must not be broken. The existence of the various living things within the food chain must be kept in a state of balance, and their living space and existence must be maintained. Therefore, the laws and rules of survival for all things established by God are of vital importance. Only the existence of the laws and rules of survival created by God for all things can ensure the continuation of the food chain and guarantee that it is not broken. The existence, continuation, and protection of the food chain is a basic guarantee that people will be able to obtain water, air, sunlight, and food. Only when people have this basic guarantee can their physical lives be sustained. Only then can they reproduce and live on this earthly home, a living environment such as this. Only in this way can mankind have a future and have hope. The laws and rules... One second. Therefore, the laws and rules of survival for all things established by God are of vital importance. Only the existence of the laws and rules of survival created by God for all things can ensure the continuation of the food chain and guarantee that it is not broken. The existence, continuation, and protection of the food chain is a basic guarantee that people will be able to obtain... Oh, I already read this. The laws and rules followed by the four seasons, day and night, wind, frost, snow, and rain, things that exist under the laws and rules created by God, as well as the forms in which they appear, are by any measure positive things created by God. As for the various living things, regardless of their forms, their way of survival, or their manners of hunting or obtaining food, in short, so long as they live within the laws and rules established by God, and so long as they are an essential, indispensable part of the food chain created by God, they are positive things that come from God. People should not judge them based on their own outlooks and preferences. Someone might say, so are mosquitoes and flies positive things then? What about venomous snakes, centipedes, and scorpions? And especially toads, which are so ugly, are they positive things too? What is the accurate way of putting it? The roles played by these species created by God and the laws and rules they follow are all positive things. And what about their physical forms and appearances? Are they positive things? You could call them positive things if you really had to, but they're not negative things. At the very least, in terms of the rules they follow, the roles these living things play, and their necessity in the food chain, they exist as positive things. Isn't this way of putting it accurate? To be precise, because such living things follow the laws and rules established by God and fulfill the responsibilities and mission that God has laid out for them, because they live up to their mission, whether it's spreading bacteria or maintaining the reproductive equilibrium of various microorganisms. Looking at it in terms of the roles they play and the significance and purpose of their creation by God, their very existence is a positive thing. If we were to say that the mosquito is a positive thing in itself, this might be a bit difficult to understand or accept. However, judging by God's intention in creating it, the laws and rules it follows, and the role it plays in the food chain, it is indispensable, and so it is a positive thing. Some people say, since mosquitoes are positive things, does that mean we have to accept them and that we shouldn't swat them? If a mosquito is about to bite you, you should still swat it. If a fly is buzzing around you while you're eating, you can shoo it away or swat it. This is because 1 or 2 fewer mosquitoes or flies won't cause any problems for the food chain, nor will it affect these creatures' completion of their mission. If such a creature wants to fulfill its mission, it should find the right place to do so. It's not needed in human living environments, so just drive it away and be done with it. Coexist peacefully with it. If it doesn't coexist peacefully with you and keeps bothering you, then it's fine to shoo it away or swat it. This is called reasonable management and correct treatment. Some people say, mosquitoes always bother me and give me lots of bites. Can I curse them? That's not necessary. You can just swat them. You are within your right to swat them. This is completely in line with the principle for how mankind, the steward of all things, should treat all things. For example, if a venomous snake enters your home and you see that this is not where it belongs, just drive it into the woods. If you are bitten and poisoned by it, you have to find a way to get medical treatment immediately. There's no need for you to try to find it and take revenge and kill it. If it harmed you again, wouldn't that be even more troublesome? So don't go tit for tat with it, just learn to guard against it. Being able to learn a lesson from this matter is what an intelligent person would do. What were the 3 principles we just talked about? First, be sure that it is a positive thing. Second, if it appears near you and you don't want to bother with it, then just stay away from it. Don't let it get close and don't let it disturb you. Third, have a correct viewpoint toward it. Don't feel repulsed by it or detest it. Instead, accept and acknowledge it, and then manage it reasonably. Manage it reasonably and treat it correctly. Don't complain about God or judge that God was wrong to create it, or that he might have made a mistake just because it has disturbed you or sometimes caused you some trouble or even bitten and poisoned you. This way of looking at it is incorrect. It might be that you didn't manage it well, or it might be that it mistakenly entered your home and disturbed you. But if you address it gently, saying, "You've gone the wrong way, this isn't your home. If you have no ill will toward me, I won't do you any harm. Move along to wherever you're supposed to be," and it sees you won't harm it, it'll turn around and leave on its own. You say to it, "Goodbye until we meet again. Our meeting this time was meant to be. If we're meant to meet again, I'll still let you go." Upon hearing this, it will think, "Humans are great. They really know how to manage us. They have no malice." As long as you don't harm it, it won't harm you either. Some animals harm people because people are always harming them. They only harm people after developing animosity toward them, doing so because of people's foolishness and viciousness. In the minds of such creatures, they naturally don't have any animosity or hostility towards humans. You see, when Noah built the ark, none of the animals harmed anyone, and Noah could even interact with the animals and train them. At that time, humans and animals were friendly with each other. Later, humans grew more and more deeply corrupt and became utterly vicious, always wanting to hunt animals for their meat, and so animosity between humans and various animals grew. Carnivorous animals, as soon as they catch the scent of a human, feel a tasty meal has been served and want to eat their fill. Which side caused this? It was caused entirely by the utter viciousness of mankind. Do you understand? Yes. So animals and people used to be friendly with each other, and that explains how Noah was able to train the animals to go on the ark, and he was able to interact with them, and there was no animosity between humans and animals. Animals saw humans completely differently, but humans kept hunting animals for their pelts and for their horns and for their meat, and destroying their living environment. And animosity grew between animals and humans, and it's completely different now. And that's because of humans' corruption. That's not the fault of the animals. The animals, are not the animals are not as intelligent as humans, although humans are more corrupt. So, I mean, animals are more reasonable than humans in some ways. It's just really sad to think that animals and humans used to be able to get along, and there was no animosity between them. And it's really sad because it's not like that now. But the good news is God will teach us how to properly manage the animals, so we may be the stewards of the animals and the earth, and we'll know how to take care of everything. He's already teaching us, even in these words, he's teaching us how to take care of everything. So it's really good what God's doing. And once we enter into the next stage, we'll know how to take care of everything. And maybe God will even show us more in the next stage. He'll show us more of how to take care of everything. And it's getting close to the end, when the content of God's words is in relation to our stewardship of all things on the earth, and our role in managing all things on the earth in the next stage. God's preparing us right now for the next stage, so it's getting close. And I mean, I could be wrong about that. Maybe we're not that close, but I know we're pretty close. I mean, I don't know how much longer we've got. Nobody does. But God's preparing us for the next stage. So it's exciting. I'm kind of nervous. I just want to do a good job. I don't want to let God down. So, all right, that's it. God bless. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.